Welcome ladies and gentlemen to my Stamina Nightblade Gankbuild Gankmania for Homestead. So in the first part of the video I want to talk about the basics, and the second part I want to show you off some combos, how we actually are going to kill people and how you should fight, what kind of playstyle we have with this build. Now on my website I will put the link into the description. You will also find all the details listed, and also how you can craft certain potions, etc. Okay, let's get started. So to show you off our stats, we basically are close to 4k weapon damage, 33k stam, 27k health and 11k magicka. Now technically we could get more damage, right? But we want some utility, that's why the stats here look like this. In terms of Mundus Stone, we want to use the Shadow Mundus Stone to get as much increased critical damage done as possible, which is great. If you want, you can be a vampire or a werewolf, but it's not necessary. In terms of race, Khajiit or Wood Elf. Simple because they both give you this, like increases your damage done while in stealth, so that helps a lot. Then like Khajiits have like extra stam rec and health recovery. Wood Elf has 21% extra stamina recovery, so it can be even more helpful. Now in terms of buff food, basically there is two options. Like you can either use this here, so your stats will look like this, or you can use this here, the tri-stat food. I do recommend using the tri-stat food simply because the extra magicka is very nice, because we have a few utility skills that use magicka. So I actually prefer this setup. There is another third thing you could use, like this tea. You will drop in health quite a lot, however you're still at 21k health, which is more than fine for a gank build, and your recovery bonuses are pretty high then. However, I don't think it's necessary because this is a hit and run build. If you can't get your kill off, you're just gonna get the fuck out of here as soon as possible. In terms of gear, we're using 5 alchemist, 5 spriggan, and a croc piece, and a master bow if you have one. I will get to that in a second. So first off, croc 1 piece, 2k extra physical penetration is a lot of extra damage. And then obviously we have spriggans, which gives us another 3.8 to 4k penetration depending on what quality you have it. And alchemist, which boosts our weapon damage pretty high, which is really nice. The reason why we also have pretty good health is because of Alchemist. It just gives 2 nice health bonuses, which is cool. Plus obviously the Battle Spirit bonus. Now, why do I run Impenetrable? So there's 2 things you can do. If you want to get higher damage from your Mundus Stone, you can use Divine on all pieces. I do recommend running Impenetrable because this is a melee gank build. And in case somebody is trying to hit you or attack you, you get caught, Impenetrable is still very helpful. Then, like, you either can run 5-1-1 setup or a 7 medium setup, it doesn't really matter that much. Just use what you have. Like, I only have a light head here, so I don't use 7 medium. I do prefer 7 medium simply because it gives me a little bit more cost reduction than 5-1-1 setup, but the difference is really small. Just the gear setup is very important. Now obviously 3 times weapon damage glyphs on my Spriggan rings. We have a Spriggan great sword, 2-hander. Now sword, axe, mace, what should you use? I like a sword because it gives you 5% more damage on everything, also on shields. A mace doesn't help for shields. Axe bleeding is nice, but we want to go for insta kills, so I think a sword is the best option. Drain health poison, this just helps a little bit, killing off the targets faster. On the back bar, so here, you can use a master's bow. Now there's a few different things you can do. You can either use a sharpened one or a defending. You also could use a spriggan bow if you don't have a master's bow. The reason why I prefer a master's bow is because it increases your weapon damage by 300. When we use poison injection on the enemy, we get 300 extra weapon damage on that dude, which is nice. Now, if you don't have one, use just a spriggan or even a random, because most damage comes from our two-hander bar. But this is just like a rebuff damage over time bar to reapply dots. That's about it. Why do I say you can use a defending? Let me check, do I have a defending? The reason why you actually can use a defending bow is if you're trying to escape on this back bar when you travel around, it gives you more protection. It's just you don't get killed that fast, okay? Especially if somebody drops a shooting star in your face or something like that. Alchemist is craftable. This drops in Fungal Grotto 1. Spriggan drops in Bunker Eye if I remember correctly. On my website you can find the locations. The link is in the description. Champion points. 100 Warlord, 60 Mooncalf, 40 Tumbling. Then here you have 97 in Precise Strikes and 97 in Mighty and 6 in Piercing. The reason why we have so many points in here is because we already have quite a lot of penetration through Spriggan and Krag and sharpened weapons. And out of stealth we will always get a guaranteed crit hit because of the skill we are using. And then I put 100 Hardy, 100 Elemental Defender. You can play around a little bit here if you want, like put some points into thick skinned if you have problems, but it's just this setup like this here is totally fine. Now skills. We use Rally, nice burst heal, ambush, our gap closer. Also buffs our next attack by 20%. Surprise attack, this is our main damage ability. Debuffs the enemy with major fracture and deals a shit ton of damage. Shadowy Disguise, now that's why I say 15k Magicka is nice, so we actually can use this skill quite often. This is also important because we want to get closer to the enemy. And you see, your next attack within 3 seconds will always be a critical strike, so that's really nice. Vigor to heal ourselves. Incap Strike, now this is really strong ulti, 70 ulti points, it's really cheap, but it deals a shit ton of damage, plus for the next 6 seconds you do 20% more damage, that's insane. Our bow bar, we are using Shadow Image. Now this skill is probably the most important one if it comes to ganking and how you can escape a fight. Because a lot of people don't know how to use this properly. I will show this off in the second part, so you understand what I mean. Relentless Focus, 8% extra damage, 10% more stamina recovery, must be kept up at all times. Poison Injection. Now this actually helps a lot to kill enemies, or just simply as a dot on the enemy. It's just really strong, especially in execute range. Radiant Mage Light. There's two things why I use this. First off, when I travel around on my horse and stuff, if you have a defending bow and a Radiant Mage Light, you're not gonna get ganked. If you think, well, I don't need this, then you always can use the Mass Hysteria here if you want to. Shuffle, kinda OP skill. Dodge chance by 15%, very useful. And the Ballista. Now, why do we use the Ballista here? I think this is a very nice escape skill. Like if you have some enemies on you or one dude, you can put this on him and he will be really busy. Either you can run away or then try go kill him. It's just a thing here, but most of the times you're using Incap Strike. Now that's basically about the skill setup. In terms of potions, I almost forgot. We use those here, the immovable pots, so they give CC immunity, more stamina and speed buff. It's just really nice because the extra speed is really cool. It's basically a permanent speed buff and you're really fast like this. Also when you're in cloak, it's just really nice. Now shadow image. Basically, a lot of people don't use this properly because what you want to do with it. Like you see the range is pretty high. So before you engage somebody you can use this, cast it. And now the thing is, when you try to fight the enemy around here, he doesn't really see the shadow image. And if he tries to attack you, you drop low on health. You can pop this and you're back here. And he's around the corner there. Until he realizes where you went, you're already gone. So I really recommend that you practice this a lot on most gank builds or Nightblade builds in general. This is kind of the key skill to survival. Because Nightblades don't really have nice healing skills and Cloak doesn't work very reliably. That's why I say you really need to get used to this skill and how to use it. How should you kill enemies with this build? So basically you want to be in sneak form, right? And you want to use certain skills. Now for me, I like Relentless Focus. We have Alchemist active on both bars, right? So what you can do, you use this, you charge your heavy attack, or first poison heavy attack, poisoning injection, and then weapon swap. And rip. I mean, this dude is in heavy armor. Like, had 26k health and he just died. Before the poison injection actually could tick only once. It's just stupid how strong like this kind of gear combo is. Now for a little bit, if you're like, there is another thing you can do with the alchemist set. You could put the alchemist set on the back bar, so you only have 4 pieces on the front bar, which would allow you to get 2 monster set pieces here. For example, Velidref or Celine. But I think for most people it is very complicated to get the proc off on the right bar. So I just think this is the better setup. Another way to kill off enemies is in melee range. So basically, well, we also were in melee before, but now with melee skills. You want to make sure to have Relentless Focus and rally up, and you can use Cloak to get close to the enemy. Activate this, charge a heavy attack, incap, and rip. Now if he didn't die that fast, I would obviously have used surprise attack. Let's just try again. Another great thing about Nightblades is also, now I have 53 ultimate points. And I don't really have my ulti ready, but because we have, where is it? Catalyst. When we drink a potion, we drink one always because to proc Alchemist, we get 20 ulti points. So even though I don't have my ulti ready, I know when I pop the potion, it will be ready. To see, it's really like, the thing is, enemies can't really see us because we can cloak and they can't see shit, right? And all we need to do is charge our heavy attack and incap and goodbye. It's just very simple to kill people. Now, this is the easy part, like I said. The hard part comes in when you want to escape from a battle, so you really need to pick your targets carefully to actually get used to not fucking die after you kill somebody. This is like probably the most difficult part. You also see, like, even if you use poison injection and stuff, it does so much damage, like 3k. That was a non-crit. Now the last tick was 6.4k poison injection crit. This is with Battle Spirit, so if you start off with the bow heavy attack, incap, even if he manages to break free and try to heal up, he will definitely die. Incap strike also puts a healing debuff on the enemy. Now that's it. If you want to see me like stream gameplay of builds, I stream a lot on Twitch. I will put the link into the description. I will also make sure to announce it on YouTube every time I stream from now on, so you actually know, oh, I'm streaming. Thank you for watching. Oh, and if you have any questions, ask me in the comment section below. Thank you. Cheers.